In Europe, Cymru is a country that is part of the United Kingdom. It is bordered by England to the east, the Irish Sea to the north and west, and the Bristol Channel to the south. It had a population in 2011 of 3,063,456 and has a total area of 20,779 square kilometers. Its highest summit. The country lies within the North Temperate Zone and has a changeable maritime climate. Welsh national identity emerged among the Britons after the Roman withdrawal from Britain in the 5th century, and Wales is regarded as one of the modern Celtic nations. Llewellyn ap Gruffydd's death in 1282 marked the completion of Edward I of England's conquest of Wales, though Owain Glyndwr briefly restored independence to Wales in the early 15th century. The whole of Wales was annexed by England and incorporated within the English legal system under the Laws in Wales Acts 1535 and 1542. Distinctive Welsh politics developed in the 19th century. Welsh liberalism, exemplified in the early 20th century by David Lloyd George, was displaced by the growth of socialism and the Labour Party. Welsh national feeling grew over the century. Plaid Cymru was formed in 1925 and the Welsh Language Society in 1962. Established under the Government of Wales Act 1998. Senedd Cymru, the Welsh Parliament, formerly known as the National Assembly for Wales, is responsible for a range of devolved policy matters. At the dawn of the Industrial Revolution, development of the mining and metallurgical industries transformed the country from an agricultural society into an industrial nation. The South Wales coalfields exploitation caused a rapid expansion of Wales's population. Two-thirds of the population live in South Wales, including Cardiff, Swansea, Newport and the nearby valleys. Now that the country's traditional extractive and heavy industries have gone or are in decline, the economy is based on the public sector, light and service industries, and tourism. In livestock farming, including dairy farming, Wales is a net exporter, contributing towards national agricultural self-sufficiency. Wales closely shares its political and social history with the rest of Great Britain, and a majority of the population in most areas speaks English as a first language. But the country has retained a distinct cultural identity. Both Welsh and English are official languages. Over 560,000 Welsh speakers live in Wales, and the language is spoken by a majority of the population in parts of the north and west from the late 19th century onwards. Wales acquired its popular image as the land of song, in part due to the Eisteddfod tradition. At many international sporting events, such as the FIFA World Cup, Rugby World Cup and the Commonwealth Games, Wales has its own national team. At the Olympic Games, Welsh athletes compete for the UK as part of a Great Britain team. Rugby union is seen as a symbol of Welsh identity and an expression of national consciousness. The English words Wales and Welsh derive from the same Old English root. The modern Welsh name for themselves is Cymru, and Cymru is the Welsh name for Wales. These words are descended from the Brythonic word combrogi, meaning fellow countrymen, and probably came into use before the 7th century. In literature, they could be spelt Cymru or Cymru, regardless of whether it referred to the people or their homeland. The Latinized forms of these names, Cambrian, Cambrook and Cambria, survive as names such as the Cambrian Mountains in the Cambrian geological period. Wales has been inhabited by modern humans for at least 29,000 years. Continuous human habitation dates from the end of the last ice age, between 12,000 and 10,000 years before present, lower than today. The historian John Davies theorized that the story of Cantor Gwaelod's drowning entails in the Mabinogion of the waters between Wales and Ireland being narrower and shallower, may be distant folk memories of this time. Neolithic colonists integrated with the indigenous people, gradually changing their lifestyles from a nomadic life of hunting and gathering to become settled farmers about 6000 BP, the Neolithic Revolution. They cleared the forests to establish pasture and to cultivate the land, developed new technologies such as ceramics and textile production, and built cromlechs such as Pentra Ifan, Bryn Chelly Ddu, and Parkes WM Long Cairn between about 5800 BP and 5500 BP. Over the following centuries they assimilated immigrants and adopted ideas from Bronze Age and Iron Age Celtic cultures. Some historians, such as John T. Koch, consider Wales in the late Bronze Age as part of a maritime trading networked culture that included other Celtic nations. This Atlantic Celtic view is opposed by others who hold that the Celtic languages derive their origins from the more easterly Hallstatt culture. By the time of the Roman invasion of Britain, the area of modern Wales had been divided among the tribes of the Desingli, or Devisers, Cornovi, Demete and Silioz F.